Returnal is a game that no one saw coming, but immediately caught the attention of everyone who saw its reveal. It looked like a very interesting survivor horror experience with amazing visuals and third-person gameplay that reminded everyone of the industry classic as a Dead Space series. Another reason behind why players giving Returnal a shot, even though it may not be the type of the game that they are generally be playing, as in the fact that the PlayStation 5 is currently not very high on games that are developed exclusively for the system. And most games are developed in a way that PlayStation 4 can have the port of them too. So with the next-gen experience promised and very compelling concept, Returnal was a day one purchase for many people, including myself. However, we soon came to learn that not all the glitter is gold, and the issue mainly resolves around the game's saving mechanic. So what exactly makes the game's save system underdeveloped? Let's address the elephant in the room and explain the answer to that question. The first thing that you need to know about the Returnal is that it's not a conventional survival horror game. While the genre often frustrates players with difficulties, puzzles, and exploration, Returnal is actually a different type of a game. Belonging to a genre called roguelike video games, it's being compared to video games such as the Dark Souls due to the fact that it's very difficult to play and challenging players in the most unexpected ways as they battle through its specific rules and the enemies. And speaking of those specific rules, brings us to the biggest thing, the game's save functionality. Similar to other roguelike video games, Returnal does not offer you an ability to save the game anytime that you want. The game is played within cycles instead of the single long adventure, since the protagonist is stuck in a time loop unless the player reaches a real ending of the game by completing crucial tasks in each loop. So you cannot save the game until you complete a loop that is done by beating a cycle of the game. And of course, beating a cycle takes many hours, since it's essentially like completing the game aside from getting real endings. And as for dying, you lose your progress and items, which makes dying to save the game an unusable exploit. One way or another, this is a feature that is up to debate by players, as hardcore fans of the genre are defending the game's save mechanics and practically telling players to get better. Whereas the casual sides who don't want their progress to be wasted over these things are not very happy with this mechanic. Not everyone likes every game, so it's rather subjective in that regard. However, things are never that simple, and if there's anything that we've learned from the modern day in gaming, is that the fact that ambitious games often end up being nearly unplayable at launch, despite the fact that they cost $70 on the PlayStation 5. So the issue with the Returnal is the fact that even though it's developed exclusively for the PlayStation 5, it's poorly optimized. The game often suffers from crashes, and half of the time it's crucial moments like fighting the last boss. Going that far and having your game crash is most certainly a frustrating experience, but it's something that we've quite used to this point. What we do here is simply load up the last checkpoint or last save file, and it immediately allows us to play the game from where we last left off. You see what this is getting at? Returnal is a game that only saves by its own choice, and that usually happens hours down the line. So a game with a permadeath mechanic which cannot be saved crashes several hours down the line and completely wastes your progress in terms of both completing the story and progression that you have achieved within the gameplay. That's surely not an enjoyable experience, and it's completely understandable that the game is receiving backlash for it. But even though this sounds bad enough, the nightmare does not stop there. Once the feedback was taken into the account, developer Housemarque released a patch that fixes some of the crashes issues players have been experiencing within the game. However, this only caused another problem as the game started corrupting save files of random gamers. We're talking about gamers who sat down for hours playing through the different cycles and keeping their console on so that their run isn't wasted. And they all lost all that time and effort by putting a $70 game because of the official patch, and as ironically meant to fix things. And there are random issues that you don't hear too often too, such as a certain doors not opening which leaves players with no choice but to restart their game, and that means your progress starts over from the beginning, since there are no checkpoints to help you out with that. The difficulty isn't a problem here, as the gaming community welcomes challenging experiences like Dark Souls with open arms, as it provides players with enough fairness in regards to saving your progress. Returnal, on the other hand, is not only incredibly difficult, its random issues continue to cause players to lose their progress and even lose their progress entirely. Now the developers have announced a new patch that will fix the issues within the game's save file corrupting errors, but those who have already lost their save file will never be able to use those again. On top of that, I was one of the victims that had to go through this, and I had a corrupted save file. My save file had to be replaced, so this meant that I had to completely start the game from the very beginning. So while many people already disagree or whether or not the game should have such a strict save mechanic that disallows players from taking breaks, the game manages to take things to the next level by punishing people for even trying to play it. It has been an absolute disaster for players, including myself, who simply wanted to have a good time, and ultimately leaves the PlayStation 5 with one less exclusive video game for me to look forward to for a sequel to come. Whether the game ran perfectly for you, had the same issues as me, or you don't intend to buy it at all, I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments down below. And if you found this video informative, do leave a like and hit the subscribe button as well. Consider supporting me on my Patreon, with availability to see these sorts of special videos earlier with the additional rewards. Lastly, check out the rest of my special videos playlist. I have put in time and effort into individual videos, and I'm very proud of them, how they all have turned out to be. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.